Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Hess. Today we're going to keep building that same Power App we were working on last week. It seems like that topic was pretty popular, to convert a Excel sheet to SharePoint Power Apps. And we're going to go over some more of your questions. Let's create many-to-one relationships today using SharePoint, and we'll answer some more of your questions. And if you have more questions, leave them in the comments. I'm going to build another video next week, and I'm going to try and answer some questions. If you don't have anything, then I'm going to create my own video on my own topics. All right, let's get into it. There was one question I really wanted to cover, and this is coming from Mo, one-to-many relationships. So the last video we did a one-to-one relationship, one accessory. If we save, the ID will change, and you'll see that we now have a different accessory attached to our radio. So it's a one-to-one relationship. And before we just jump right into this, let's kind of explain what one-to-many relationships are. And to do that, I'm going to go to Visio. Now, you don't have to have Visio. You can have other tools. You could do this in Excel, even though we're pulling everything out of Excel. You can do this in Excel. You could do this in Microsoft Paint to draw this up. You can handwrite it. Just visualize your one-to-many relationship. So I'm going to go to Visio. And in Visio, I'm going to picture what this looks like. The way that I see this is we have radios. And notice this is something that maybe Dataverse does for you that maybe you don't realize, or something that I do that I don't realize that I do. And that is, it's radios, not radio. So it's radios. So if you come to SharePoint list, you notice that I named it radios and accessories. I know this is nitpicky or a little, but that's just how people do databases, right? There's many radios. There's not just one. There's many radios and there's many accessories. And I'm not telling you to come in and change all your SharePoint or data sources. Consistency is important, but for data sources, tables, collections, most people will name them a plural value. So we have a SharePoint list. There's a SharePoint list. And in this SharePoint list, we are going to have accessories, right? And this is another SharePoint list. Now, the way many people may write this is they will draw a line from radios to accessories, and then above it, normally people will, and if you ever see this, people will write one to N, and that means one to many. I'm not sure exactly why they don't use the M. Maybe that's a question for, let's try Copilot. So we'll ask it, why do they write one to N instead of one to M? So M is less commonly used, even though it would technically make sense. It stands for many. The N aligns more closely with standard mathematical conventions. So that's how people write one to many, is they write one to N or one to N with a capital N. And it is to indicate a one to many relationship. So you may see this in a diagram or when you document out your Power App. If you think about this, we will have one radio, but there's a list of radios, but one radio could have multiple accessories, right? So there could be multiple accessories. You could have over an ear. You could have, multiple accessories inside of this SharePoint list that are attached. So you have one radio and it has over the ear headset. I'm not sure what else. What are some other accessories? Let's ask Copilot. What are accessories for a radio? An antenna, a microphone, a speaker, batteries, chargers. So you would have one radio, right? We have one. And each of these would have an accessory. So let's see here. An accessory. And it might be a speaker. And it has an ID of whatever, 2. Let's say the speaker has an ID of 2. And then you have another accessory. And this is the over-the-ear headset, and it has an ID of 3. Let's just say it has an ID of 3. And then you have another accessory, and it is a battery. A battery, and it has an ID of 8. And all 3 of these accessories are then related to your one radio. So your one radio, most likely, I'm just making this up, is a radio of ID equals 1, right? So you have one radio, and it has multiple accessories attached to it. This is just to visualize what it would look like. So you'd have multiple accessories part of this one radio, right? So radio ID 1 has multiple accessories. We want to relate them and do this in SharePoint. And this ID right here, the ID 1, 2, 8, and 3, this is the SharePoint ID. This is not model number. This is the SharePoint ID. You see the ID 1, 2, 3. That is what this ID is that we want to relate to our accessory SharePoint ID. So radio ID 1 has multiple accessories. We want to relate them and do this in SharePoint. So let's get into this and let's build this. So let's go back to SharePoint. And I'm going to go in here, and I have a one-to-one relationship, and it's accessory ID, and it's in our radios SharePoint list. So I'm not going to say we made a mistake, or maybe I'll say like Bob Ross. Mistakes are just happy little accidents, and we'll turn these into birds. We'll draw birds right here. That's all these are. That's all these mistakes are. They're just happy little accidents. And so we have accessory ID here in radios. But we don't really want accessory ID in radios, because now we're going to do one to many. So in accessories, this is where we want radio ID. And I'm going to do a number. Now you could do text, but I'm going to do number. Radio ID. Okay, and I'm going to delete the accessory ID. Hopefully this won't break everything in my Power App, but that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to delete this field, okay? So there's no accessory ID. There is a radio ID here, and this is in 1, 1, 1, and then let's create some more. I remember I saw batteries, and this will be in 1, and then actually this will be 1, 2, 3. The battery will be in 1, and then I saw microphone, and it will also be in 1. So the model number of, this is the model number of the accessory. We'll just call this 1, 2, or we'll call it AAA. I don't know, AAA 1, 2, 3. The model number of the microphone is, just some numbers and letters in there. Okay, so now we have, if you look at this, maybe we don't need color in here for batteries, but maybe you do. Okay, so visualize this. We have a radio with 3 parts to it. This radio ID number 1, so let's take a look at it. Radio ID number 1, this one here, is XPR 7550E. It has 3 accessories attached to it now in our data. That's how we're visualizing it. All right, so I'm going to refresh the data source first. First thing I'm going to do is going to refresh the data source, and that's probably going to break some things, right? Because I deleted this field. So let's get rid of all 3 of these and this card. All right, now we're back to just our basic columns of radios. So title, serial number, condition, department code, assigned to. So we have those fields, and let's make sure that's filled out on number 1. So assigned to, we'll assign it to me. When you do one to many, you have to be able to visualize many. Normally, a one to many relationship, you're not going to do a text, right? Because you're not going to show mini in here. Well, there are ways, workarounds to do this, but normally you need a way to visualize the mini relationship. So there's a few easy ways to do this. So we have our form here. Let's do something different. And this is only to show how to do it differently. Let's do a vertical gallery. And I actually want this gallery, I want my gallery 1 to be inside this container right here. So inside this container. And this gallery, the items property, right? We can connect it to accessories if we want right now. So I can connect that gallery to accessories. But it's going to show all the accessories and not the accessories that are attached to this line item. And I'm going to change it off of title. We'll just do title for now. And since we have form radio and gallery 1, I'm going to turn on flexible height on both of them. So right up here, other side, right up here, flexible height. I'm going to turn it on, and on gallery 1, flexible height, it's on. Fill portions, I'm going to turn the radio. Let's see, it's actually, let me scroll down. I got to get myself out of the way. It's like right here, fill portions. Fill portions. I'm going to change this to a 2. That way my form gets more space. My gallery, right here, my gallery 1, I'm also going to turn on stretch to give it all that space. And my preference, I hate this arrow. I don't know. I always get rid of that arrow. I don't like it. And so now we have a gallery with some fields in here. I'm going to make it smaller, like it's a little too big for me. I'm going to make the template size to 40. There we go. Now we can see that there's many rows in there. There's 5 to be exact. So there's 5 to be exact. If we go to our accessories, there's 5 in here. So what we want to do on this gallery is we want to filter accessories when it's equal to the one that we've clicked on. So when we click on one, we want to show the accessories that are attached to ID 1 of our table here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this gallery and I'm going to say, hey, filter accessories when what? Let's take a look at when radio ID, that's how we're going to start off. When this radio ID is equal to what? We can say the table here. We can pull in the ID on our form. So edit fields, add fields, we can pull in the ID. So ID is equal to 1 and we could do it from the form. So let's do it from here. This is, you'll just have to trust me so don't have to move me again. Data card value 6. Data card value 6 dot value. Pull in the title. And what it's not understanding right now is that this is actually a number field. And there you go. And it brings up a delegation warning. But think about this. Are you going to have 500 accessories attached to your Power App? I know this little yellow may drive you crazy. There's ways we can hide this yellow bar. We can get into that. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Instead of saying the value of data card value 6 instead of here, we can also point it at the table. We can also say it's equal to the table, and I'm guessing this is table 2. Let's take a look. So this is table 2 right here. You can see table 2. We can also say when it's equal to table 2 dot selected dot ID. And that also brought in the 3 that are attached to it. So now here we can pull this over. And since this is our accessories list, we could say, oh, also show the, the model number. Show me the model number. All right, so now we have the model number also here. So we have the name, the model number, and we can pull in the color. So just copy paste this item dot color. And I believe it's color dot value because it's a choice field. So now we have the 345, AAA, and J34. So 345, 324 is the ending. So 324, RadioID, the AAA, and the J34. So we have those three values. And if we select a different one, it does not show everything. Right? So now we're only showing the ones that we have selected. And we could probably throw in a label up here. If we wanted to throw in a label and then pull it up. So I'll just, there's an easy way to do it. It's control and the square bracket. You can pull that right on up. And this text, we want it to take the entire space. So I will align it and then I will flexible height it. And let's see, the form needs to go up. And the text needs to go up one. There we go. And let's see, the fill portions is 1. The fill portions of this form now, let's make this a lot bigger. Let's make this 6. We have our form. We have a field here that is now going to say accessories for this radio. And then we'll pull it in the center. So let's see, align in the center. We can give it some color if we want to. So fill it in, maybe like a gray. There we go. And we'll bold it. Just kind of, make it look nice. That's something that you can spend your time on, making this look nice, how you want it to look. Okay, I don't focus. A lot of the YouTubers focus on making things look nice. And to me, functionality, performance, then look nice. That's my opinion, right? So first, let's get the functionality working. Then let's make sure it performs well. Let's make sure that the Power App works on all of our laptops or tablets and they have enough processor speed, enough RAM to run the Power Apps efficiently. Because if it looks nice and it's slow, I promise you, people are going to hate your Power App. So looking nice is last step. That's my opinion. Maybe other people are different. So we have our accessories. And I don't like this blue bar either. I'm going to delete this blue bar. All right, that's all I'm doing right now to make it look pretty. So delegation issue is here. Not a big deal. We're not going to have 500 accessories attached to this item. And if we do have more than 500 accessories, we'll work on that. 2,000. How many accessories do you think they have? Do you think they're getting above 2,000? There's ways that we can do this. But that maybe is phase 2. Let's just get the functionality working right now. There's the next issue that we need to do. We need a way to add an accessory to the line item that we're on. Let's insert a button. Now this could be a icon. It could be, whatever you want. You can see it kind of puts it here at the bottom. And we could settle for the button to be at the bottom, right? So let's say this is an easy way. Okay, now add a accessory. Is that bad? I don't think it's that bad. That is one option. We could just have a button right here, add an accessory. I feel like this is an easy way out. And this button is going to take us to a new screen. Let's keep the same form here. And we're going to have our accessories. We'll have a table. And it's our accessories. All right, and we want it to take up all the space. So flexible height is on. But the accessories, once again, is going to filter. And it's going to filter accessories when RadioID is equal to, so the same filter from before. So we just go from here, this filter, copy it in our new screen, on our new table. The same one. So we only see what we saw for this item because we're going to click on it and go to this item. And I'm going to rename my screen to screen accessories. And on the right side, we're going to have our form. And this is repetitive. Once again, this is very repetitive. We'll have our fields. We'll do columns of 1. So the form is actually going to show accessories. So now we get our accessories form. Replace my data cards. Okay, so we have our accessories data form. And then we want to say the items property is equal to table 1.selected. All right, so now when we select something, it then populates, looking good. But RadioID, we want this RadioID to always, 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 always be equal to the one we have selected on our last page. So we want the RadioID to always be equal to this ID. So this is table 2. We can say, hey, grab the ID from table 2, or we can grab data card value 6 again. Either way you want to do it, whichever way you like. So let's go back to our screen. So the default value, I'm going to unlock here. The default value is the table2.selected.id. So it's always equal to 1. And we want this field here to be read-only. You are not allowed to write in here. So the display mode is display mode dot view. All right, and actually maybe disabled might be better. Let's do disabled. And then we can pull this up. All right, so it's always going to write 1 there unless, let's add a back arrow. So let's insert a back. Let's do a back arrow. So I'm just going to leave the buttons there for right now because I don't want to get into that in this video. So we'll just put a gap of 10. And then we'll move this to the left. Or, yeah, we'll leave it like that. That's fine for now. And this arrow is going to navigate us to screen radios on a fade. Okay, so now when we click this back arrow, it navigates us there. This button, the Add Accessories, is going to navigate us to screen accessories on a fade. Before we navigate, we're actually going to say new form. And what's that form? I'm not sure which form that is. I'm going to say guess form 2. Let's see. It's actually form 1. And then we can rename our form. So if you rename it to FRM accessories or accessory. All right, so now let's check this out. We go back. We're here. We click on this first one. We do add accessory. We have 3 accessories. We go back. We click on the second one. Add accessory. We only have 1. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? And we can create a new one if we want. So now we can create a battery. The model number is a AA123, and the color is white. The batteries are white. And we click save. Do we do the save button? The save button is going to submit form FRM accessories. And our save button now saves. And then this is the little trick I like to do actually. On our save, and I'm going super fast. I'm sorry. I'll try and slow down. On our form, there is a functionality on here, and it is called on success. When it's successful, I'm going to navigate back to screen radios. Only on success will we navigate on the save button. If it fails, it will not navigate us back, and it'll display the error message. So let's go back and let's create one on on, how about this one, APX 6000XE. We'll add an accessory. The title will be microphone. And this is a Sony B23452, and the color is black. And I'm not sure why our forum did that, but okay. So we're going to add in a new radio, hit save. It's going to go back. And now in our gallery down here, we can see the accessory. And in our form, just because I don't really need to see ID, it's only for development purposes or debug purposes. I'm going to remove ID. We don't need to see it. And maybe I'll make this 2 columns just to fit everything in there. So now we're in our canvas size. We can now assign things to people, hit save. Assign things to people, hit save. All right, so we have done a one-to-many relationship now. We have one radio with many accessories. We can add a new accessory to it. So if we wanted to add a new accessory, where's Copilot? This is where I need Copilot. External speaker. External speaker, 1, 2. Color is red. Save. Now on here we have 4 items, 4 accessories per one radio. The filter button is working. We do have a delegation issue. Now to solve this delegation issue, you probably maybe want to do collections. So that's another video. We'll get into that. Let's go to some of your other questions real quick. So I'm going to start here because this was a new question on this video. Can we embed a Power App form in a SharePoint page so that the user remains within SharePoint environment and update data in the SharePoint list? There's a few different ways to do this. The best way, and this is opinion, is to integrate with Power Apps. Now, I've done some videos on this, but this is an entirely different way. But I like to embed Power Apps and replace my form here. So you can replace this entire out-of-the-box form with a Power App. Another way is, say you're on the home page or you have a custom page. You can easily use the Power Apps web part. So let's see here. I love that they have a new full width section. Side topic, sorry. Also, in a 1 column section, there is a Power Apps. And there's no space in Power Apps. Microsoft Power Apps, add an app. So we have it in here. So you can embed a Power App on a page. Probably not the best way to do it for this Power App that we worked on, but it is possible. It's very small. Or what is my zoom? Yeah, my zoom is up there. So you can see now we have the Power App. It works completely just fine in here. Also, you have Teams, right? So you have Teams. I like to embed Power Apps in Teams. I also like to use Dataverse for Teams. So you're in a Microsoft team. You can come up here to the tab. You can add Power Apps here. And it's going to ask you which one. So this was the fire department or radios. We can add it, save. I like the way this looks in Teams. Then you can have your SharePoint list. And maybe you don't want people to see your SharePoint list, but you can have your SharePoint list also attached in the team. So we have a question here. Hey, Andrew, may I ask how to make the gallery look like yours? I mean, how to set up the color of each column. So this is something you can do also. So in Power Apps, let's go to the one where we had a gallery. So we have a gallery here. Easily, if you just come to the first row, and you can see I have 3 text fields here. And if you change the background color to blue, it will change that all the way down. So when we click on one, we can see that row is now blue. And you can add a border if you want, different colors. We're going to do different things. It's just all about lining it up perfectly. And then you can change the colors. So that's how you can add colors down your gallery. Let's see if there's any more questions we can answer. I really liked this question here. Have you ever encountered a situation where you created a complex app, visuals, logic, but decided it was easier to maintain in traditional code? Actually done that? Yes. This is something that I have actually done. I do agree Power Apps has its use cases and Pro Code has its use cases. Not everything should be a Power App. Maybe you should it be a Microsoft Form? Microsoft Form is so easy. You can make a Microsoft Form real quick. Then the next step, should it be a Power App? So I think you have Forms, Power Apps, Canvas, model-driven, custom code. It's kind of where should your app live? So I do think that I have done this, and sometimes we create Power Apps temporarily while we wait for the .NET team or the custom dev team to create the app. And it's kind of that intermediate step, because I can create a Power App like that, right? And so it's very useful to be able to do that and then have the custom dev team use the same data source, maybe SQL, Dataverse, and create a custom application after that. So I did see this question from Shindozo. Hey, they have a problem with modern box choices, modern forms linked to SharePoint list, search their entire organization. I have seen this issue. Now, what I'm going to recommend is Reza has a brand new video. Maybe you should check out Reza's video. So Reza created a brand new video. It just came out. So he has a brand new video right here. I could probably create one, but hey, check out Reza. I mean, I know I'm not the only one. He has a create a modern people picker experience in Power Apps combo box tips. So he goes over the tips. He has a ton of views. Reza's amazing. Check out his video. So that's what I would recommend for that question. So for this question, how do you do it for multiple filters? I'm having trouble having it return everything if the variable is blank. A lot of times I'll do an if statement, or I'll build something in the collection and I'll say, if this is blank, then just show radios. If it's not blank, then in the next comma, then show my filter query. So the first thing is if blank radios, right? You show the entire list, and then else you show your filtered query based on your variable. So I think that's where I'm going to leave off for today. We went over many-to-one using SharePoint. We have it working beautifully. So it is working beautifully in SharePoint. And we have a many-to-one relationship. We can check out the list. So if we refresh, we can see we have it repeating. We can see RadioID does repeat 1, 1, 1. So there's 4 items attached to the first radio, and they have different model numbers, and that's how we can track that. I think next week what we're going to do is we're going to do the broken list. From our original question, it was, hey, what if we have a broken radio? I want to identify a broken radio and print off this nice document that says it's done, and then do a new form and pull all that information in. So next week, that's what we'll get into. My name is Andrew Hess. Thank you all for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. If you are not back before then, have a great holiday. We're going to keep creating videos, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.